Okay, if I could get your attention, we had a special call, quick financial management committee meeting here at 6:30 to deal with the last minute current fiscal year business. And so we'll just call the meeting to order. We're all right here across the front. Everybody's present, counted for in regards to that. So there's really only one item because there was no change to the request for the budget presented the other night or the resolution. So the only item we have is the 23-24 budget amendments. School system got theirs in today. You were given the latest documents supporting the amendments requested for the current fiscal year to close it out. Is that right? So we need a motion and a second, and we can discuss it. Okay, so we've got a motion second. We're open for discussion in regards to that. You want to make any?
You want me to hit the highlights, please? Okay, we'll start off with the school budget first when we talk about the highlights, but I wanted to explain what we do. This is a year-end, what we call a cleanup amendment, and we go through all the accounts and make sure that none are over. If they are, then we move from one account to another to make sure we can balance that out. And if we go over on payroll, for instance, on a payroll line, then we would get an audit finding. So that's one of the things that we look at, is to try to balance those so that we don't have any that are over. And that's basically what this is. But we'll start with the school budget, and I'll give you the highlights. Page 1 is we have an SLC grant for $859,000. This actually went to the state back in May, but it didn't get into our local budget, so we have to put it in the local budget. And that's what this is. We had an SLT grant, $155,000. That's also in there. Same thing, it went to the state, I think, May 17th. We have a CCEIS additional funds of $9,300. The superintendent, we call it career ladder, but it's not career ladder, she told me today. That's the account we have to pay it out of, though. But they get money if they go to enough classes during the year. I believe I'm right, Dr. Garrett. And they had stopped this, but this year they brought it back. And the rest of that is refunds and reimbursements. A lot of your refunds and reimbursements are like insurance recovery. If we had an insurance loss, then the money has to go back in. We took a little bit of money out of fund balance, and we had a Walmart grant that went in last year that didn't get spent, so we had to reallocate it for this year. So that's the summary of what's in the budget. If you go to page 2, you'll see the breakdown of where that was actually put in to the different expenditure lines. Now, where it says department transfer, that's where we're transferring items from one account to another to balance the budget, as I mentioned earlier. And you've got all the detail behind that. Are there any questions about that? Okay, I will move on to the county side. This is set up the same way. If you'll look at page 1, you will see that we are posting to revenue. We're recording some donations. This is primarily the animal control donations. We had to reclassify some accounts. We had a grant of $4 million. So that's in there. That's why that's such a large number. It's a WIIP grant. We had additional MCO revenue. This is ambulance service, EMS. And we had refunds. We had some reimbursements. Now, I broke it down into refunds and reimbursements because that's where your, like I said, insurance recovery stuff goes. And there's some miscellaneous small ones. We also took money from courthouse jail renovation, and that was $959. Courthouse security, $4,500. And then we had several things from restricted fund balance, and I've got a total there. I didn't total it up, but you can see the breakdown. And that's typically like the county clerk. She has a special account she can draw from. That's from fees. And so that's the breakdown of the revenue. If you go to page 2 and 3, you will see where that's actually allocated throughout the budget. And once again, if you see a 1, it's a department transfer. And all the detail is behind it. Now, I've got some other funds that are color-coded. They're broken down by colors. And this is true of schools, too. I just didn't mention it. We've got a highway fund is the yellow sheet. And we had a safety grant. And we had some refunds. And that's basically what that one is. If you go to the white sheets behind that, it's debt service. We had a refund there, and then when we have a refund of debt service, it's where people pay the impact fee, and then they have to get a refund to get some of it back sometimes. We had loan proceeds, and we had to adjust for additional revenue. Okay, the green ones. This is the capital projects fund. This is where we had to post the loan proceeds, and this is from the juvenile center and we didn't have Liberty School in that one, did we? Yeah, we had to put it in there, and then we had to transfer it out. Okay, and the last one is the capital projects from capital projects fund from the county. So if there are any questions, I'll be glad to answer them about all of those. Now on the school side, you had a couple of small funds. We had a child nutrition fund that had an adjustment. That's to record commodities from the federal government. So we have to put that in every year, and that's 400 and something thousand, I think. And then we had a small adjustment on school age care program. I think it was $600. So.
Okay, again, this is our typical end of year cleanup where we're making all the accounts be positive and not negative to close out the year. You've heard the explanation. We had the motion to second. Are we ready to vote? Any other question? Yeah, okay, all right, and we had a second from a while ago. So all in favor? Any opposed? All right. Again, the other two items on there was the budgets in case there need to be any corrections or adjustments, which it's my understanding there is not according to our meeting from the other night. So no action to required there, or the resolutions. Again, as presented, they'll be before the commission tonight at 7. Is there anything else, announcement somebody wants to say? It's a special call meeting, so we really can't conduct other business. Okay, so we need a motion to adjourn.